Hello, it's William here from Wusik, and I want to show a new code I'm working for Wusik Station Z1. So I'm doing this in a bit over 4K resolution. So if you take a look at the background file, it's really large and it has a lot of detail. But the problem is how to downsample to 1080p or 480p for lower resolutions, because anything above 1080p is going to look great. So what I did, when you first load the plugin, or when you change the resolution, the size of the plugin, is going to calculate the new images, resize it down or up to the size you selected, and it's going to use what is called a Gaussian interpolation. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. Gaussian, I don't know. So I put here a key to toggle between linear and Gaussian. So I'm just going to say linear and the better one. And you can see that the text, especially here on filter 1 and filter 2, is very much improved with the high interpolation code. But the linear is being done on the fly, so it's loading the full image on the memory, and that's very slow because it not only takes a lot of memory to load the 4K image, but also to downsample to, in this case, would be around 480p, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So what happens with the higher downsampling code, in this case the Gaussian, I don't know if that's the name, it does to a temporary image, then it saves to disk, and it unloads the large one. So right now, if I move it around and stuff like that, it's going to be much quicker to render all this background drop. And you can see, especially in the text, like on this area here, layer options, if I go to the linear, it's brighter, but it's also very choppy. I think that's the correct name. And if I go to the between the linear and the other one, you can see the difference it does, especially if I lower even more. Let's say I'm running on a notebook and I need a very small interface just to switch presets. It's going to compute the files again, save the cached files, and if I go to the high quality one, you can see the difference now is very drastic. It's very great, especially here on the text area. I'm just switching very quickly to show the difference. And if I close it and open, it's going to take like a second because it's going to load from the cached files. It's not going to compute anymore. So it does very quickly. And the cached files are saved in a cached folder. So it caches the background, the layer selector, and the font. The font in this case is here on the synth name, on the preset name, sorry. Synth base on 1. And if I make it very large, the difference not so great, but it still gets some benefits from caching the file, because you see how long it took to resample all the images. So now you don't see a lot of difference going from one to another. It's just the text is a bit sharper without the high quality interpolation, but the difference is when loading up, because it's loading a smaller file, just takes 1 second instead. So when I change the size, it loads all the high quality images and resamples them. So if I release the mouse, it's going to resize the interface. So this is a new code I created. This is exclusive to Wusik Station Z1, and I think it's going to help a lot the interface. so I don't need to use vectors. I can use 3D graphics and make it look very 3D-like and sharp. I personally don't like vector graphics, but that's my taste for creating my own scenes. And so far, that's what I have done. It took me 2 days to do this, so now I'm going to start populating the rest of the objects, and also I have to create another font for this. The framework I'm using does allow me to use custom fonts, but I'm using a font that has this 3D effect. So if I load the font here, it has a glow outside the font. Let me see the original size. So that's the original size. It has some sort of 3D effect to it. So it looks, in my opinion, very good. It's not just static text on top of thing. The skin selector is also already being drawn, just not being clicked yet, but that's easy to do. And that's what I want to show in this video. So it's going to be a very great interface that's going to support very high resolutions, just a bit over 4K for full screen. So you can see here, it looks very good at 1080p. And the file itself is very large, so it's going to look great. So don't forget to check on the site how you can pre-order it to help me out. And it does help me out a lot, because I will have to license new sounds for it. I want to create a new sound library for it. And without the pre-orders, I'm just not going to be able to get many sounds for it. So please check it out. It's cheap, and it helps the whole thing out. That's it. Thanks for watching.